I'm so glad you could join me for the Homeschool Mom Chat. How is your week going? The weather is beautiful here today. In the last few days, along with the moonlight, I'm getting like these shadows of sun coming down on my great room floor and my living room floor or my bedroom floor, and it's just beautiful. I love it. And it feels like spring. Not sure it should be springing yet, but it does. I've heard that that's the case also in various parts of where you might be. I'm curious where you're from. Tell me about your homeschool experience. And welcome to the Homeschool Mom Chat here every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to be bringing one homeschool mom into our conversation. You can learn a little bit more about other homeschool moms around the world. Some of the moms that are here are serving in the homeschool mom space. If we haven't met, I'm Teresa Wiedrick. I am a certified life coach and a homeschool mentor and graduated homeschool mom of 4 kids. I have 3 kiddos all grown up and they're launched into the world. My youngest is almost 16. And remember, I don't know if you've heard this, but when people say that it happens really quickly, that they're little and there's a lot going on and all of a sudden they're grown up and they're gone, that's happened to me. And I thought it would never happen because I was quite exhausted by the first number of years of mothering, and then add in about 3-4 years of homeschool mothering, and that's when I hit a wall. And really was where I would say that I really began deschooling in a full way. But even after I've graduated as a homeschool mom, I still find myself deschooling. And also decluttering. That's a topic that I'm bringing this week, partly because I had this amazing conversation with Simple by Emmy podcast. And Emmy is Emily at the Simple by Emmy podcast. And her and I are talking on the Homeschool Mama Self-Care podcast all about decluttering principles or practical tips you could use. And I found that a very fascinating conversation. So that's why I'm bringing all these declutter concepts to you this week and showing you all the cluttered parts of my life. I just ask in the Facebook group, my Homeschool Mama support group on Facebook, 3 different areas of your house. What is the most cluttered area? And one of the moms added something I knew I should have added before she did. It was my mind. I said maybe it'll be your pantry, maybe it'll be your underwear drawer, maybe it'll be, wherever you put your casual wear, that drawer, or maybe it'll be the plastic food container drawer. And then this mom said, my mind. Touche. Touche. Today we're going to bring you Mary from Mary Making It Work, and we're going to be talking about her experience homeschooling. She's about her 3rd or 4th year homeschooling, she said. Adorable kiddo, beautiful spirit. This is someone you want to know on the Instagram. She just brings a lot of life and energy and warmth and positivity and all those things. Classical Enneagram 7. By the way, Mary, I have an Enneagram 7 daughter, so I identify you. So much fun. And we're going to have about a 20-minute chat. We'll see about that one. I'm suspecting I'll have a delightful chat that I will have a hard time saying goodbye to. But here I bring to you Mary from Mary Making It Work. Hey,
Hey, that's how that works.
nice to officially meet you.
Yeah, same here. I'm happy to be here.
Me
We'll
too.
see. My little guy runs in. He woke up on the wrong side of a nap. But I think my hubby's got the fort, so
Oh,
we should be.
good. Yeah, I thought that this morning too. And then my giant dog is barking, and I'm like, no, if it's not a child, it's a dog.
Right.
But tell me about your family, how you came to homeschooling, how many kids you're homeschooling. I'd love to hear generally where in the world you're homeschooling.
Yeah. Okay. So we are from New York. I'm from New York, the Hudson Valley. I don't live in the city, but I'm not technically upstate, but I'm far enough upstate at this point. I have 5 kids. We have 5 children: Joseph, Emily, Daniel, Ella, and John. 10, 9, 7, 5, and
Well
2.
done.
Um, yes. And they're all, John just turned 2, and all the rest of them this summer are turning their next age. So we're all about to have lots of birthdays coming up. That's fun. We knew we were going to homeschool from the start. My husband and I were not homeschooled. we just knew when we got married, if God's going to give us children, it's you're going to stay home, because why work and then pay someone else to raise our kids? We'll do without, like, we don't go on big fancy vacations. That's just not what we do. We love hiking. We just prioritize family time and making it work. We go to a little beach once a year. That's not too far, but so we're home. And I didn't mean to or know I was going to have so many kids, but just I knew, oh no, and then I'm like, well, I don't think I'm done. Let's do another one. And then it just
I
kept going.
do. After the last one was about 5 or 6, and then I can't remember who said it to me. Maybe it was my husband, but said, like, "Are you really want to?" And I'm like, "No."
Right.
you,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Now,
So, like I said, so now we've got 5 wonderful children, and I love it goes boy, girl, boy, girl, boy. So we had a little pattern going on. So now the joke with family and friends is, are you rounding out your pattern with a girl? And that I go, you never know. I'm open to it, but I'm not trying for it either because I am busy. So homeschooling. So we knew I was going to stay home, and for many, many reasons, we decided to homeschool. Again, I'm just like, if they're here and you know your children are older, I feel like I'm blinking. And I know my oldest is only 10,
double,
but I'm kind of like, how? What? Like, it
yeah.
just goes. So we were like, we don't want to only have nights and weekends with our kids. And we kind of, I want to live my life with my children. A dream of mine is to road school, to travel the US in an RV. And I'm like, I want to do that with my family, because what better way to learn and to live than to get out there and go? I'm all about, like, I'm always at farmers markets, or we're like always somewhere, and I'm networking, like, hey, who are you? I'm like, that's life to me. So I want that for my children. So that's how we started, and it's been a journey. I'm still learning a lot.
Yeah. First of all, with the road schooling, I hear so many different words attached to that, like world schooling, road schooling, travel schooling, like all sorts of things. We for 7 years we did half our time we did traveling around the world, various things, and I would be asked, "Are you going to bring the curriculum?" No, no, I'm not.
Right.
Because when you go somewhere, that is the curriculum. The language,
Exactly.
every time you walk out the door is amazing. But tell me, you're in your about third, fourth year, I think, homeschooling?
I think so. As you were saying that when I was waiting to come on, I'm like, oh, how do I not know? It's like when you ask my
Oh,
kids, what grade are you in? I go, just tell them how old you are. One of the reasons we don't go to school is because I don't fully agree with, the grade, or it's all this or that. So I go, you just tell them how old you are.
yeah.
Like,
I know we did various things over the course of time, but by the time probably the last couple were in adolescence, they got tired of being asked the questions about what grade you're in, or
right,
why aren't you in school, or oh, you homeschooled, are you tired of your mom as a teacher, or is she gonna teach you until college? Like, also, so they got tired of it, so they'd just be like, grade 9.
right, yeah. I love it. I could totally see that happening.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're about third, fourth year, and that I don't know if this is your experience, but this is a typical year where I'm often coaching, because it's often a year where people hit a wall where they're like, oh, I'm done with how I was doing things, and I'm going to do it the way that works for me. I'm curious what your journey, you spoke to me about deschooling, what your journey to deschooling was.
Right. So I'm still, and I'm always like, again, how have I been doing that this many years? And I'm still finding my footing. I
Yeah.
just feel like, I guess, with having a larger family, we bring another sheep into the fold, so to say. And I always go, so like, how is it with number 5? I'm like, one, he just brought such joy to our life. He's just there. We just entered toddler years, though. He ain't just there now.
Yeah.
So it's not so easy right now. So I'm like, all right, what's working? And I envision, I don't know, this like just beautiful spread of me sitting and my little ones at my feet, and we're harmoniously learning together, and that's not what happens, at least not most of the time. So like you said, and again, I intellectually know we don't just learn at a desk, and it's, I don't want to recreate school at home, but I'm still like, I feel like, is there gaps? I still have that voice in my head. So trying to find the footing of, all right, do I just let go of doing the beautiful harmonious family thing? And I'm thinking about shooting off into different days. Again, I am not a sit down, let's just do curriculum and books and this, and I want to capitalize on child-led, what they're into, but it's a juggle and a struggle. And like you said, I'm at this point where it's that I'm like, all right, we need to reevaluate and really kind of get something good into place for my children, for myself, that kind of just feels good for us, because my
Exactly
kids are fighting back with me, and I'm like, this isn't the way we're supposed to, you're not supposed to be crying or yelling or this is dumb. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. So I'm at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that. Okay, first of all, I just want to say that I'm post homeschooling, I think. And I still feel like there's things that I'm deschooling from. And different people say certain things, or I catch myself speaking to my college age kids or graduated college kids, and I still go, huh, okay, is that something I could actually deinstitutionalize my thinking? I'm still there. I really do see that there's a significant shift in the first, moving from not homeschooling to homeschooling, even, if that's before you have kids, whatever, but whatever stage you research the idea of doing something that's outside the box, that's a big shift. And then there's the big shift, not everybody, but a lot of people by year 3, year 4, where they're like, is it working for me and my family? And then there's the re-upping phase into high school years. I've noticed that, but I think it happens all the way through.
Right. No, I agree. And then I feel like I notice with the little co-ops and communities we do, like, we're always comparing, and I try not to, and I know don't, like, and I always tell my children, because they tend to get competitive. Hey, you don't know. And I'm like, it's not. I go, because, you all learn at different rates.
Yeah.
That's why mama keeps here. Like, so we just want to encourage it. Doesn't matter if she's not doing this and you're doing that. You're you. But then bringing it back to, like you said, when I look out in the community, I have some very classical
Yeah.
homeschools. One of them only has one child, but the child's Britain. It's just, and I am like, wow, that's amazing. But I'm like, I'm choking.
Yeah.
Like, I can't, or, the very Charlotte Mason. And again, I'm like, oh, beautiful. And, so then I kind of feel, I wish I should be doing, but it's not really me, and it's not what's going to work for my family. So again, I work to go, that's not us, and that's okay. So like you said, that's just been a journey, and I've gotten much stronger in it, and knowing, what, this is my family,
Yeah.
and that's what works for us, and that's okay. So I think I fully kind of accepted that now. So
It's making it work. And that's actually what I ask people if they're coming for a coaching session, is that those questions. What is working for you? What isn't working for you? What is working for your child? What isn't working for your child? And what do you believe in education to be anyway?
right. No, exactly. Like you said, and so I really want to strive to, and I want to teach my children, like, your character building and helping and knowing, like I always say, not that this is necessarily education, or I don't know, we have a nice piece of property here. My boys are fully capable, ready, go out there with my husband and can just do it and help other people in our community. And I don't know, I love that. Or just their desire to want to learn, to my oldest son, build things, or how does this work? And we're always trying to, like, take things apart and get that there. And I'm like, all right, let's see what your interests, your skills are. And I try to find things that, we capitalize on. Him and I love to do, all those, like, logic
Yeah.
puzzles. We were doing that all morning today. All right, if this one's here, and we just have those minds that work similar. So that's something that we just completely go with. And I'm like, all right, you need that in life, like, making it work. Like, you got this and you got this. What you need to make it like the MacGyver. All right, what are we gonna do? What's gonna
I know.
work? You know. So I've learned to kind of do that.
Yeah, MacGyver. I love that. So are you a 70s, 80s baby?
Yeah, I was born in the '80s. Yeah. So that,
Love.
like you said, making it work, and I think that's also something I share with my father. He has that attitude, or you do it, and he's in his last year of working. I think he should have retired already, but he talks about younger people coming in and they're like, oh, well, this isn't the right part. And he's like, all right, we don't got time. You're not waiting for the other part. You got this, we got to do it. And you got to think outside the box. How,
Yes.
this is what life dealt you. Like, and I think that applies to any situation, my washing machine broke, or you're out there dealing with people in the world. All right, this is what I got. You can't I can't sit here and cry. We just had our glass jar of milk spilled the other day. I can't sit here and cry over spilled milk. My husband's like, I wish this didn't happen. I go, I didn't want this to happen either. What are we going to do?
Right.
How are we going to get this cleaned? Where can we put just pick up the pieces? All right, let's move forward and do it. And so just having that mindset shift to just say, it's just strap up the boots. We're going to figure out how to make, the situation better and move forward.
Yeah.
Kind of.
End goal. That's the key.
Right.
Is what's the end goal? And so however you determine what an education is, and however you determine your specific child and all their uniquenesses and yours will align together to move toward that end goal. Like, what are you going to do today to make that momentum or that inertia to let me say this. I'm trying to say two things at once. That won't work. Your goal is this. So if that's the case, then you work backwards and say, okay, well, what am I going to do to accomplish that goal?
Right.
Instead of follow the inertia or just yield to the inertia of what the cultural messaging is about what an education is. Even in the homeschool community, I'll say that, because it depends on where we're at in the homeschool community. I'm not speaking against any one homeschool community or speaking against any at all. But just because someone's doing it in a certain way doesn't mean that we need to yield to the inertia of what is around us. We're focusing on what works for us, what works for our child. What do we believe that education is anyway? What's our end goal? And is what we're doing today matching that end goal?
Absolutely. I completely agree. 1000% with that.
Talk about it, then do it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Right.
That's kind of like decluttering your education thoughts.
Right. So like you said, I know that, but so then speaking of decluttering, because I've been getting so much better at physically, we don't need it. I mean, the veterans donation truck comes a lot. And I was looking, I went to almost do a challenge and then I did it. And it was like, get rid of all your workbooks. And I was like, no, because it said, and I mean, I'm intrigued by it. But I mean, I have a lot of workbooks that I've just through the years gotten. And I'm like, oh, I don't know that I can do that. Like, because I still think, and again, I don't know if it was because I did well in school. I was a well-read, compliant girl. I love schooling. I love to read. I love to write. Like, so I did well in the traditional model. And my oldest daughter, so I punished my kids, if you will. My daughter loved it. The other kids did because they were never, I'm like, let's just do this. Try to make school fun. They didn't. I go, you know what? We're going to do school like the real people. I became Miss S. I made them student ID cards. I go, we're sitting here. We're doing math for 40 minutes. And Miss S, I have my homework. And she was in her glory. And I was like, oh, and my oldest and then my other one, they kind of pushed back a bit, but they all kind of liked it though in a little bit. I like put on fake glasses. So it was just fun because I was like, you don't know how good you have it being a homeschooler was my thing. I'm like, the little bit I ask you guys to do, like, please. So it was funny just seeing how their personalities reacted. Although my oldest thinks, well, if I go to real school, when I get it right, they give me prizes, right? And I'm like, no. Good job. Next subject. He goes, yeah, well, then I just won't do it. I go, okay, well, then now you have twice the amount of work and you're probably failing. Then you're like, so it's so, they have no idea what to compare it to. Well, don't they just sit around lockers? I'm like, what are we watching that this is what they think? They sit around and just talk to people all day. I'm like, no, you don't. But
comes from certain television shows, because I do recall that my kids watching, I can't remember which one it was, iCarly or something like that, and the portrayal of what was going on there, that wasn't school.
Right.
That wasn't fun. But if you look at the concept of deschooling, I find it's not really our kids that need to deschool as much as we do. It's really cluttering ourselves, because I don't know how long that lasted that you played the Miss S role with your kids, but I'm guessing it wasn't for like 3.5 years. It was like for a time, and they thought this was fun that they were playing with their mom's school, right? Like some play thing. And although probably you have at least one kiddo who's like, bring it every day. I would love to say, you gotta have one like, yes, they're like, no, thank you. But you didn't play that role for years on end, I'm guessing.
No, and to be honest, it was probably like maybe a week if we got to it, because it was like the whole day. And not for nothing, like, again, this is something that I'm still always learning. You got to juggle and balance, because I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a teacher, and then I have my own self-care and my sanity to deal with. I can't just sit and homeschool all day. Where's the dinner coming on the table? My husband, he leaves the house very early, but he's home at 3:15. I mean, and it's great. I don't know why that does that sometimes, but it's hard. My husband, like, I feel like our day has to be kind of wrapped up. We eat it like, so there's no, unless I had maids and, chefs, how could I do school like that every day? It, to me, and the way I look at it, that is not realistic and sustainable. Even that short period of time, I was feeling burnt out, because I'm like, my whole, and then thinking about it before, getting everything always together, and then throw the toddler in there that's not sleeping right. And I'm like, huh,
you're not sleeping right.
Yes.
Everyone has different capacities, and everyone really does do it differently, because that question again, is it working for you? Sometimes it does. Certain things are working for certain people. So that's why, to me, I'm like, I don't care what your method is. It doesn't matter. I love all the methods, by the way. I think they all add beauty to what we could be doing, but we can't do everything. We are finite. And so then we have to focus in on how do we, as your account says, actually make it work.
Right.
And really meet our intentions for our child's education, and not just their education, but actually for their education. I don't know if you know that the root word for education is educato. It's the Latin root word, and I know that because I was classically homeschooling in the beginning. And raising them up, what is that for? What's the end goal for raising them up? Is it just about sitting them down with workbooks, or is it just about all the classic things we learn within the school system? Is it all even the classic things that we have told each other it is because we are now homeschooling? Like, what's the end goal? And I will say this, I really don't think inside the box, as might be obvious to everyone here, but I really do think that you're going to ask yourself, okay, this child, this person in front of me that I don't know everything about, that isn't super clear to me either, this child in front of me who is continuing to grow and get clearer to themselves over the course of their lifetime, is developing at their own pace, is becoming their own person to contribute to the world in their own unique way. They've got about 80 years, probably not 90 or 100, but maybe. And so 80 maybe years, what are they going to do with that? Are you going to be sitting them down to try to get into them all the things that Google, God, and ChatGPT already have figured out? Or are you going to like equip them to do the next step right now? And so if that's a 3-year-old, the next step is to figure out how to, I don't know, you tell me. I forget what my 2 or 3-year-old is doing. Turn on the taps, and how long will it take to fill and overfill the sink?
Yes, he loves doing, I think you saw it in my videos, we have all those little like counting bears and things. He makes me smoothies with those, and we put them in. And we were trying to do those lacing bead things today, but he would like put it in and then expect it to want, but I'm like, I guess we're not fully there yet. But like you said, he loved, just putting things in buckets and carrying it around, dumping it, and doing it. But what's been very helpful is I usually enlist my 5, almost 6-year-old daughter. If I'm trying to do something more, one-on-one with my other older children, can you go play with John or do something? Or you always can go to Smurfs. He's obsessed with Smurfs right now. So if it's really not working with the two of them playing, I can put Smurfs on. So I can. So they made a newer version. Okay. I prefer the old one. My older one admits that the old ones are good. At first they were like, I don't know. And I'm like, just watch it. Like, and he's always my oldest. He's a bookworm. He gets in trouble for reading constantly. I'll give him like new books, and he usually resists me. He always resists me. But then when he reads it, he's like, Mom, that was good. And I'm like, trust me, will you? Yeah, go ahead, my love. Yes. Sorry. That's my oldest and my hubby. So I forgot what I was saying about him. I'm like, just trust me. Oh, the Smurfs and the old Smurfs. I was like, Mommy knows the good stuff. But my 2-year-old is like, I like the new edition of the Smurfs.
That's like a very full life.
Yeah.
So decluttering angle, is there one tip or a few that you would give to moms, or something that you presently are learning how to do?
With decluttering? Well, something I've done in the past, and it helps with keeping clutter and things low, is I box certain things up and I keep it away.
Yeah.
So then it's not there. And then sometimes I rotate it back in. So then it's new and exciting. Or then I notice if it comes back out and it's not, it just goes. And then I've truly, again, and just, I guess, reading this and then just owning it. If I'm cleaning an area and I go on one of my little cleaning binges and I'm like, oh, I haven't used this. And I go to put it back in the drawer or back in the closet, I'm never going to use it in the back of the closet. So if I'm really putting something back there, let it go. And very rarely has it now been happening where, I let it go and then I needed that thing. It's happened maybe twice that I'm like, I had it and I let it go. I gave it away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've noticed as I'm learning to declutter and let things go, it helps me to feel a bit more calm, that there's not so much stuff and there's this, and the less we have, I feel like I can become more present with my children, whether my to-do list isn't that long, which I learned a long time ago. I only really schedule one activity or something. I mean, I was a super mom the other day. I did Sam's Club, ShopRite, and the local dairy farm the other day, and we were still back by lunch. And I'm like, I never do that. But just learning to prioritize, what needs to get done, what's my most important thing, and do it. And like I said, if you're shoving something in a closet, get rid of it. And as far as time, just what matters most, be present and schedule 0 days where you allow a day just to connect and you don't have an agenda in your head where it's like, oh, we have to get a math done or do this, and just go, I want to just enjoy my kids because I'm stressed out, whether you have something personal going on that's, coming at you, or something with your kids just need it. Like, just, I want them to remember a happy and present mom. If nothing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Because I don't want anybody to feel that you don't, because you shouldn't, because it's not going to be reality. You're not God. You can't be present all the time. But what I've noticed is for my own stuff, if I want to get rid of something, if I put it inside of, say, a laundry basket or something in the back of the car, and then I've told myself, you have a week. If it has to stay in the back of the car and you haven't delivered it to the whatever secondhand store, it's or you haven't taken it from that basket, it's your sign to get rid of it.
Right.
Just like, wait, even yesterday, I'm in Studio C, I call my closet when I'm in podcast editing or podcast recording mode, and I'm doing decluttering podcast with Simple by Emmy, her podcast. And I am decluttering as I'm editing. And I realize my yoga pant drawer is overflowing. And I'm like, this is it. I have got to get rid of this. Didn't even know we were going to talk about it in the conversation, but we did, about yoga pants specifically for homeschool moms. And so then I'm pulling stuff out and I'm like, this is like, I don't know, 15 years old with holes and
Right.
all. It's time.
I
Yeah.
completely agree. Something I did for my kids, you reminded me because you said a basket. I did, because I'm always like, got to put your stuff away, kids. I put a basket at the end of our hallway, and you've got to clean up, right? You got to clean up. And if I ask once or twice, they don't. I put stuff in this basket, and if in about a week's time they haven't noticed it's missing or not
Yeah.
there, I donate it. Because you didn't care for it, that or you're not using it that much. I mean, if it's something that I know is truly something they do, like, they really do, I do end up putting it away and I don't get rid of it. But for the most part, I'm like, what is this? What is this thing? And then, they didn't come to look for it or claim it. And then it's out and it goes to a home that needs and wants it more. So
I would love to hear about this happy juice that this is what you offer in the homeschool community, is something called happy juice. And I would love to hear what your thing is, your experience or your story around that.
Yeah. So I would love to talk about it. So I had found this happy juice the end of last year, the end of 2023. My marriage was just pretty tough. 5 kids and home with them and just life going on. And it was just really hard. I always talk about my brown chair. That's where I'm always like nursing my baby. But to relate it to that, I was just like, I was struggling to get out of the brown chair every morning, not really being present with my children, just like dreading my days. We are a very health conscious and active family. I wasn't exercising anymore. I was probably running off of coffee and cortisol, like bad. And I know better. So I had a friend that was like, her husband got something And she tried it and she's like, tabs in my brain are kind of closing and I'm just feeling better. And, it kind of heals your gut and your gut brain axis. And I mean, that was speaking my language. This is something I know about. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give this a try, probably just 30 days or I'll get my money back. I'm never going to take it again. And then one of my best friends also tried it along with me. She had lost both of her parents within about a year's time, was also personally struggling with some other things. So we're like, let's try it together.
Mm.
And oh my goodness, it was within a couple of, like I always say, like day 1, day 3, day 5, day 7, we're talking and we're like, oh my goodness, like I feel better. Like, we could hear the joy back in each other's hearts and voices again. And you feel it in yourself, but then when you see it for someone you love too, that come back to them, we were just like blown away by this. So it's like a 3-part product stack that it's shared all over on social media. Just mix up, like I said, there's clinically proven ingredients for your gut, for how it interacts with your nervous system, your circulatory, like the whole gut brain axis. Nootropics for your brain. I refer to those as like a massage for your brain, kind of just feel good, stimulate you in a calm, focused way. And it literally saved and changed my life. And then anyone I have shared it with, like I said, I was going to cancel it. And I said, no,
Yep.
I need this. And I need to tell people about this because I'm alive again. I'm a woman again. Like a wife spark came back. Mom, like it is phenomenal.
What's in it? I gotta know. Is it like, just
Yeah.
tell me what you think.
So like I said, so 3 different products. One of them is Mentabiotics. So it's clinically proven. It has 3 strains of probiotics proven to get your dopamine up, your serotonin, GABA, lower your cortisol. Then it has the prebiotic fibers for those 3 specific strains. So it's not just like a generic, Sundance or whatever it's even called, probiotic that's probably dead. So it has all of that. It helps with your gut motility. So again, keeping your food and everything just functioning right. Then energy. There's 2 slightly different formulas, but it has this product called Wyusa in it, some apple extract, like all of these, again, clinically researched, patent pended, so they're standardized and their extracts are right. Just to really, again, wake your brain up. It helps your metabolism balance. Our hormones are produced in our gut. So then that helps to get the cortisol down. Like I said, the serotonin, the GABA. I started sleeping better. My
Yeah.
toddler still
Mm-hmm.
nurses way too
Yeah.
often and all through the night. But even though I'm waking at the night, I'm waking up and I'm like, I feel like I almost got 5 hours of sleep when I'm getting not that amount of consistent sleep. And the third product, Edge, is the one I kind of mentioned, having the nootropics in it, which is a mango leaf extract, lychee fruit, palm fruit. So just these products that have been, again, studied for cognitive performance and, again, just the motivation. Like the biggest part with going to the gym is your motivation to get up off the couch and get to the gym.
Yeah.
I have motivation to get my butt in the gym because then when I'm there, you kind of can take over and do it. So it's a unique blend of just these 3 different products that, when put together, literally just synergistically light you up in all of the best ways. It is.
Feel like you're making it work on a whole new level.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, I like wake up ready for the day, that I'm like, you know what? Like, I feel like I'm not as reactive to my children. Like, where normally, when you're all stressed inside, you're like, rah! You just go, and then I'm like, whew, all right, okay, I can make this work. Like, that's okay. And they make a happy juice for kids. So my kids are always like, happy juice? I didn't get my happy juice today, Mom. I'm like, we need that too, kids. So I get to mix it up for them. So it definitely, like I said, it just really helps with the mental headspace to get yourself feeling so much better. And then I light up because I get to since I partnered with the company, I get to work with other people, helping them to feel better. And if they desire to bring in some extra income, they can do it. I met my husband at a mom and pop vitamin shop. That's how we met. I went to school for health and nutrition. So I was like, this is the same thing, except I'm not behind a desk and whatever. I have my kids here, they're with me. And although we knew keeping me home would financially be a sacrifice in many ways, now, especially with inflation and shrinkage and stuff, we are able to lean on what used to just be fun money for me with other things I've done. But now, since so many people, mental wellness is what we all need. And I think 2020 especially showed us that, and we all struggle in different ways with it. This is something everybody needs. And an extra income, if you're just like, hey, you want to like try this with me? Like, and you have the good product and someone there with you. I mean, being able to help my husband pay bills, or if there's like an outing the children and I want to go with, I'm like, hey, I can help with that, honey. And he's kind of like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah. It just that feels so good to be able to do that for my family.
Making it work to Mary making it work really well.
Yeah. Some days, yes, it feels phenomenal. It works awesome.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
It a delight meeting you. And my kids often tell me not to focus on the Enneagram types, but I'm like, she's got to be a 7.
When you did it and you pegged it, I was like, oh, I guess that kind of is me. And look, the irony, and I haven't said it, the post that you shared of me, you know what I have behind me on my chair? I got 3 pairs of pants waiting for me to iron.
Well, I don't know about you, okay, but if I had to name my channel Teresa Making It Work, I would not be adding ironing to the list of making it work.
I hate ironing.
Like, aren't those in?
Oh my gosh, my husband's lucky. I love him, and I always like joke with him because he works at a highway department. He drives heavy machinery.
Yeah.
He plows, and everyone's like, "You're the cleanest person in the highway." And I'm like, "Honey, your pants are. I take them right out of the dryer. That's like a thing of mine." And because somebody was like, just take them right out, girl. And I go, I do. My husband wants the crease. And she's like, what? I go, I know. And he works at a highway department. You're not even like a businessman.
Wow.
But I love my honey, and he works hard for us. So if he wants creases, but he's going to have to wait because he's like, you should iron them day 1. And I go, no. I'll wait till I have 3 or 4 because mama ain't taking an iron out every day.
Okay. One piece, something that needs to be ironed, and it's been on there for about 9 months.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who iron and don't iron, you do you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it was such a pleasure chatting with you.
Absolutely. I had such a wonderful time. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, let's connect again, and you can find Mary over at Mary Making It Work. And if you want to join for a conversation for something related to some challenge that you're trying to overcome, you're welcome to book a conversation with me. It was a delight chatting.
Wonderful. I'll see you soon. I'll see you on the ground.
See you here.
Bye.